Let's look at Baphomet again. He's fused. He's not just one creature. He's many creatures fused together. And his arms, salve and coagula. We'll talk about, probably won't get to it today, we'll talk about it. But notice that he's human, beast. He is of this earth. He is a spirit, an angel. He's female and male together in the same body. He's the androgynous God. We were talking about that Tuesday. This is what this is the spirit behind the transgendered movement. This is the theme or the force behind them. And you remember when we were talking about how there was the false prophet was going to call down fire from heaven. And I absolutely believe this, that there's going to come a day, there's going to be a baptism of fire. That's what Baphomet means. Baphometeos, baptism of metis, or baptism of fire. Baphomet represents a baptism of fire, and that spirit of fusing things together that are opposites of one another, that's what he represents. I got thinking about this last couple days. Notice that he's part man, part beast. So let's look at what the Bible says. Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. I think things like this are fun to talk about because the Bible, when you read it, it lays out everything so clearly. And a lot of the scholars and a lot of the people who think they know it all about the Bible, to them, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's very fun to them because they've already got a pre-written script of what they think the Bible's all about and what they think it is and it isn't. And I think you ought to just go back to the scriptures and look for things and see things that you never saw before. And that's the excitement in it. Some ministries, they read the Bible. It lays everything out so wonderfully and so magnificent. And if you believe it, God will show you things that you never saw before. So Daniel chapter 2, whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. They who are principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. That's who they are. That's who this fourth kingdom is. This is not the revived Roman Empire. I don't know where that came from. This is not Rome branching out all over the world again. I don't see that. I see this is a kingdom that is dominated by evil spirits. And we see elements of that all through the Bible. You see God telling Israel in Deuteronomy 28, if you mess up, you break all my laws and commandments, then I'm going to send a nation to you from afar, a nation of fierce countenance, whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And you have to think about this logically and rationally. There isn't a language on this earth that cannot be understood. God said it's going to be a language that they would not understand. And I just believe what the Bible says. I don't think that nation is a nation of this world. I don't think that nation is a human nation. I think it is a spiritual one. And I think that there are angels who speak in a language that no one understands. There was an occultist by the name of John Dee. He used a scrying bowl, which is a bowl full of water. Sometimes they would put mercury in it or whatever. But the mirror image is what they would use to contact the familiar spirits. They would use a scrying bowl. The imagery of a scrying bowl is that they're looking into the depths of the water to find this spirit. Think about Revelation 13, a beast rising up out of the sea. That's who I think they're trying to get in contact with. Anyway, he used a scrying bowl to come in contact with these quote-unquote angels. I believe they were evil spirits, evil angels, devils, familiar spirits. And John Dee discovered that these spirits spoke in a language that no one knew, and it was called the Enochian language. And John Dee spent the rest of his life trying to learn that language because he was informed that if he could learn it and speak it right, what does that sound like to you? If he could learn this secret, magic, occult language that no one knows and speak its words correctly, then he would have the power of creative force in his words. Who does that sound like to you? Okay? So anyway, I believe that this nation, this kingdom, is not a kingdom of humans. It's a kingdom of spirits, principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. And they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. So go back. I mean, that's who Baphomet is. He represents a nation of beast spirits that have mingled themselves with mankind so that the image of that is a hybrid image. That's what's going to happen. They're going to mingle themselves with the seed of men, literally mingling themselves with man's DNA. But they should not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. You can stick them together for a while, but it won't hold. And so this kingdom, watch this now. Here you have now a kingdom right in front of your very eyes that is divided against itself. Look at this. Baphomet is a creature divided against himself. Miry clay and iron, and they are opposites. Iron is hard, rigid, immovable, heavy. Clay is soft. You can make whatever you want to out of it. It's everywhere. It is the exact opposite of iron. And it's a kingdom divided against itself. And Jesus himself said, it will not what? Stand. And here's that big image that Nebuchadnezzar saw, and that image was doing one thing. It was standing. But what was it standing on? It was standing on the iron and the clay. And if that iron and that clay divides against itself, where can this image, where can these kingdoms stand? They can't. They fall. This is what's going on in our country and in our world right now.